I gave myself a 10-year window. So, and that's almost probably close to 19 or 20 years ago. I sort of decided, okay, I'm going to pursue this. I took a class at the university with a writer and a group of people, and after that class, we all started a writing group together. And it's that writing group that really propelled me forward, right? Because I would write for those monthly deadlines, I would write for my writing group or I'd write towards those deadlines. And I found that really useful because it gave me a deadline to write towards. And I gave myself 10 years and I kind of had a plan, a loose plan. I mean, I understood that I had to build like a publishing record for myself, right? So I originally started out writing a novel, I thought, and I got about halfway through and I ditched it because it was really bad. And I realized that what I needed to do was write short stories and send them into literary magazines and get them published. So that when I finally did write a whole book, I would have a publishing record that a publisher at least might look at my work, right? Um, so that's what I did. I wrote a bunch of short stories, and the next thing you know, I had a collection of short stories, and then I sent it to well, I did a lot of other things in between. I worked with a mentor, um, and I ended up sending it to a publisher, and then it was accepted, and you know, and then things just sort of unfurled from there. But it's a slow game. It takes a long time. I have a tendency to write in chunks. Uh, Well, yeah, a fairly big tendency to write in chunks. So I love doing things like a writing retreat or, something where you go away and you spend 1, 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever it is, just working on the thing that you're working on. And then in between, while I'm working my job, I'll take, a day on the weekend and work on a project or a couple of evenings or whatever, couple mornings even, whatever it takes to, if something's going, then I feel like you have to you have to pursue it and go with it because you're not going to remember. And even things like always having like a notebook and just writing down, that's enormously helpful because you might get a little scene, you might get a little snippet of dialogue, um, and it always surprises me how handy that comes in later on because if you're then in a big project and you're kind of stuck, you can look through your notebooks and just see, is there any sort of little glimmer of gold there that sparks something, and then you can kind of take off from there. It was not easy to come up with the title. So, I mean, the book was done and ready to go, and I had a hard time coming up with the title. I have a whole list in my phone in the notes, like of a million terrible titles that, I would go for a drink with my friends and we would just say these stupid titles and just write them down no matter what, because I mean, it was just a brainstorming kind of a thing. And I look at them now and I laugh at them, but it was really difficult to come up with a title. And so the idea of Probably Ruby, of course, is, reflecting her insecurity with her identity, right? And there's even a part in the book where she finds out that she had another name when she was first born, and she just feels really sort of weird and can't connect with that other name that she had initially, and yet even the name that she has, she kind of uh, doesn't necessarily, she kind of makes fun of it, or makes fun of her adoptive parents for coming up with this name for her, like what were they thinking kind of thing. So yeah, it's kind of that tentative nature of her identity, I think, is what's going on with that title. And I was talking about being with my friends and just coming up with these titles. I wish I could remember if it was them or me or somebody else who came up with Probably Ruby, but I can't remember which one of us it was. So maybe I'll ask them, see if they remember.